Hello guys and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today we are building a forest theme toddler room, and if you haven't seen this little trick that I'm doing right now, I did do a short on this and a TikTok where I create a little toddler den and a little platform area for the toddler bed, and this is all fully usable as well. So I'll explain how to do it in this video because I've got quite a long time, whereas in the shorts you only have a minute max to be able to get everything out. So I created a platform on this left hand side. It is just 2x2, and then I created a 2x2 room using the 1.25 wall height. I also did this around the platform as well. This is just so it can be painted. I decorated this little room however you want it to be decorated, and then as always, and you'll see me use it all the time, I use the basement trick. And the reason I use the basement trick is because when you put an item down somewhere and then you want to put something else on top of it to make it look like something's there or make it look different, it will stop the sim being able to use it. So if you put the item in the basement and raise it up to the normal level, it tricks the game. So you can still see the item, but the item is technically in the basement, so it doesn't affect the sim. So yeah, that's why I use the basement trick. It is a great trick. You can use it for absolutely anything. Honestly, even if you wanted, you have certain dining chairs that can be used. If you wanted to use one like a proper nice lounge chair, you could go ahead and size all of your dining chairs down, and in the basement use whatever like couch chair you want and raise that up from the basement so it looks like you can use the table by sitting on a couch instead of the dining chairs. So yeah, it can be used for absolutely anything. So yeah, the idea with this room is I just wanted to create something that is very forest themed. Does anybody else do this? I press the start button all the time instead of alt, and end up going back to like my homepage instead of using alt to place things. Yeah, it happens way too often. So yeah, I just want to create a little forest cute room, and there's a curtain here on the left. Your sim will just walk through it. It's quite annoying, but I wanted to add a curtain there. And also, I haven't mentioned it yet if you haven't seen my other video, there is a doggy door here, and it is the largest doggy door that comes with cats and dogs, and your toddlers can walk through this. And also, as you can see, there is now a floor, but it's not really a floor. It is a debug item, and if you don't know what debug is, I have a video on how to access debug, but it gives you thousands of more items that you normally can't see. So it's from Eco Lifestyle in the debug menu, and you go down into the basement and you raise it up. So I brought it to the top of the basement and then raised it up 12 more times to get it to this height. If you're doing something different, you might have to play around with raising it up to a specific height. And for those of you that don't know how to raise things up, for me, I use the 9 and 0 key to raise and lower things. But some people it is Control 9 and 0, or sometimes it can even be Alt 9 and 0. It just depends on your computer or laptop, and also depending on what camera you're using. So I use the Sims 3 camera. I just prefer it so much better than the Sims 4 camera. If you don't know how to change the camera, if you look in the top right hand side, you'll see a little camera symbol. You can click that and change it to Sims 3. And personally, I just prefer it. It's way better. I think a lot of Simmers do prefer it. And I believe if you're on console, you hold the 2 shoulder buttons and you use the D-pad, and you use the like top and bottom D-pad to raise it up and down. And if you want to resize on controller, you use, again, holding the shoulder buttons down, and it is the D-pad but using the left and right, and you can size things up and down. I believe that is correct, but I've looked on the internet and that's what's come up for that. And if you don't know how to make things smaller and bigger on PC or Mac, you use the square bracket keys. And all these little things, they just come in handy, and I usually forget to mention them when I make like a tips video, because I'm just like, oh, most people know these, but I think not everybody does know them, even though the game's old. Some people are a little bit newer to the game or aren't massively into building and want to get into building. So yeah, I sometimes forget to mention it, so I'll always try and reply to people if they ask in the comments like how to do something, and I try my best to get the best information out possible. Also, I did a little pink version of this. That is what my short is. It's a little pink room and it is on the gallery. The one bad thing is that with using platforms, you can upload the platform and the room as a room into the gallery. So I've had to upload these as a house, which is really annoying because you can only have one house on a lot downloaded from the gallery. So if you want this, you'll have to download it before you start building around it. It's quite annoying that you can't include your platforms within the room because it classes it as a separate room. Also, I think the basement trick wouldn't work because the basement is technically separate, so anything that I put in the basement and raised up wouldn't show up. So yeah, just a little note there. I have quite a few things that I set as houses instead of rooms for that exact reason. So I'm quite a slow builder, I always have been, but I think it's because I just look through the catalogue and I'm just trying to find something that I want to use. And especially with a room like a toddler's room, it's not something I often build. Well, I very, very rarely build. I mean, I was going to say I don't really use toddlers in the game, but I don't really play that often. It's very rare that I actually play The Sims. I just really love building and being creative. So yeah, very rarely play The Sims. Yeah, it takes me a little bit longer to build rooms like this because I don't know where everything's located. I don't even know what toddlers need to like survive in The Sims. I put a potty down in here. I know some people, you'd put the potty in the kitchen, not in the kitchen. Don't put the potty in the kitchen, that for some reason is weird. You can put the potty in like the bathroom to train your toddler. That's where you go, to the bathroom. But also like the, what's it called, a high chair. I was like, do I put that in here? But I was like, no, that'd be in the kitchen. But I placed a potty in here anyway. Obviously you can take it out if you don't want it in there. You can remove anything if you don't want it in here, or if you wanted to change the theme a little bit, you can easily just change colours or slightly change a few items to make them more of what you'd like. But like I said, I have uploaded this to the gallery and I have a base game version of this as well, where I faked a doggy door and I also use shelves as the floor instead. And I did upload a short on how to do this, but I do have it on the gallery if you don't want to go ahead and build it. Because it can be a little bit difficult, especially because like I said, I'm using the basement trick. Not everyone gets how to use it. It gets easier over time and the longer you build. I'm hoping to have more bigger builds and some stop motion stuff come up soon. I've just been incredibly busy. I say busy, I wasn't very well at first. I had to actually take a couple of days off my job, which I really, really hate doing. I hate having to ring in sick. It's not fun, but I was bedbound. I literally couldn't get out of bed. I just wasn't great. And that lasted like a week, and then I started to get better, and then my dad and his girlfriend came to visit me for a couple of days, and I just haven't had time to do anything. And then I'm like, oh, I'll try to get back into the swing of things, and then one of the girls from work is off, so I'm basically doing all of my shifts as well as covering for all of her shifts, and they're extremely long days. I start at around 7 AM most days, so it's going to be a long 6 days of work. But after then I can go back to sort of my normal shifts, because I do work part-time because I do have a second job. I am self-employed, if you didn't know and you're interested. Yeah, I make greeting cards, so I go to work, I do my job, and then I come home and I do more work. It's always good fun. And then I also try to do Sims content in between, just because I really enjoy doing it. Don't get paid for it. I mean, it'd be amazing if I did get paid for it, but I just really enjoy making the content and playing The Sims. Why are all of the like doll houses like huge? I'm pretty sure I've sized this down. I honestly don't know if they're usable when they're sized down, but I always size them down when I use them. I say that like I use them a lot. I've used them a couple of times in some builds. Yeah, I always size them down because they're just far too big. Oh, as well, I've had a few people ask why my Sims game looks quite detailed compared to some. I do use a reshader. It is, I believe it's called Boho Dreams, the reshade that I use. I can't 100% remember. I'll have to link it in my description because it's something I always forget to do. I always forget to link things in my description, as well as upload things to the gallery, but this is already uploaded. I made sure to do it before I started. So this is the room. You can see my toddler can get up there even though it goes through the curtain, and they can walk on this section. They can't walk on the right hand side, it is just for show, but they can go in this little den and it's super cute. So that's it for this build. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!